Finally, the blowtorch. Well, it has to be just right. So fussy? Psychology.
You're watching Sky News. Go follow with you. It is a Thursday morning. Our data and forensics team's been investigating the escalation of Israel's activities in southern Lebanon. It includes the latest tactics used, which leading human rights groups and lawyers have said could be war crimes. Let's hear from our special correspondent.
Israel's war on Hezbollah in Lebanon is ramping up, with hundreds of airstrikes, including sending ground troops inside Lebanese territory. And the militant group that supports Iran is continuing to fire rockets into northern Israel. Lebanon is now coping with mass displacement and a rising number of casualties, dead and injured. Israel says it's not going to allow Lebanese residents to return home until the Hezbollah infrastructure is destroyed. So what exactly is Israel doing? How is the war impacting the people of Lebanon? And how legal is any of this? Sky News has been documenting the Israeli military build-up and evacuations in southern Lebanon since October 2023. But Israel launched their assault on Iran. The Israeli offensive in Lebanon has increased significantly. In little more than 2 weeks, more than 900 people have been killed and in excess of 1 million displaced. And as the Iran war entered its third week, Israel began a ground offensive in Lebanese territory.
The IDF has begun a ground maneuver in Lebanon in order to remove threats and protect the residents in Galilee and the north.
Good news, satellite imagery, verified videos, eyewitnesses being on the ground.
Now we will be safe and there is an enemy in our border.
Plus attack and displacement data. We've tracked how Israel's campaign in southern Lebanon is unfolding and their use of tactics which human rights groups and lawyers believe could be war crimes. Israel has justified its actions by saying it is fighting a terror group, and Hezbollah will pay a heavy price for its aggression and activity in the Iranian access to destroy Israel.
Pleased to say Alex joins us now live. Alex, as we heard in that excerpt there, you've been following this story and this situation in Lebanon for some time now, but notably in the last 2.5 weeks or so, there's been a change on the ground. What's the changing conditions now in early to mid-March 26 that's enabled this situation that perhaps didn't exist before? Because there's already been Israeli activity in Lebanon in previous years. What's changing? What's different?
That's right. Let's just row back a little bit. Over the last year, up until March, up until the latest Iran-US-Israel action, there has been a supposed ceasefire in operation between Lebanon, Hezbollah, and Israel. Now, over that year, we were also monitoring the situation, and there were the UN noticed something like 10,000 violations of that ceasefire by Israel, a much, much smaller handful, couple of hundred violations by Hezbollah, but the violence went on. That all changed dramatically on March and 3rd.
Hezbollah.
Iran-Israel confrontation and fired shells into northern Israel. That sparked off everything because the Israeli airstrikes started to rain down on Lebanon with great force. They issued huge, non-specific mass displacement orders, warning people. They call them warnings, but certainly people on the ground view them as orders. But if they did not leave this area, they were going to be bombarded. And it covered a huge area, basically the whole of southern Lebanon, more than 50 towns and communities. That prompted a huge movement of people. More than 1 million or so are now displaced from their homes. Already, 65,000 before this happened were already displaced and couldn't go back to their homes.
Say no to prayer. Doesn't make any sense. Bye, everyone. Like and subscribe.
In the meantime, there are huge numbers of people all over the country who are now displaced, living in schools, some of them sleeping on streets in their cars, and ongoing on a daily basis. There are attacks against largely, just recently, a 10-story building in the middle of the capital, which Israel says housed or was associated with Hezbollah infrastructure. All that has led to possibly the worst possible conditions for Lebanese people in
I'm just looking on the live pages and I read on Sky News for instance, the story. You can see a kind of evacuation zone in southern Lebanon, and it looks somewhat like a buffer zone between Lebanon and Israel, and it feels a little similar to the strip now that is controlled within Gaza, about 50 or so percent of the Gaza strip that has Israeli troops within it. It feels a little similar to what we've maybe been seeing in Syria as well, where Israeli troops have pushed further into territories within Syria. Is actually Lebanon part of a wider trend?
Certainly looks like that to the Lebanese people and the Lebanese government and a number of humanitarian rights lawyers who say that, we've heard from Israeli ministers, the Israeli government in the last few days, saying that they will not allow people to come, residents to return to their homes south of the Litani River until they believe that Hezbollah has been destroyed. Now, who is going to determine whether Hezbollah has been destroyed or downgraded or degraded? It's very, very vague, and certainly all the indications that Israeli ground troops are moving into this area. They've bombed two of the bridges over the Litani River, which is cutting off a section of southern Lebanon to the rest of the country. And the residents who are still in the south of Lebanon are continuing to get warnings to leave the area. So even while they're being told by the Israeli army, which is inside Lebanese territory, to move out of the area, the means to get out of the area is being destroyed.
Joining us live from Istanbul, Alex Crawford. Awesome to see you. Appreciate your time. It's 11:30.
I hope we haven't forgotten anything.
Travel insurance, I tick that box.
Yeah, but remember what you forgot last year. All Clear Travel Insurance sponsored Sky News Weather.
High pressure keeping the weather fine, pleasantly warm this weekend. Rain spreading south on Monday, but bringing cooler conditions as well. Most places transferring this afternoon. Scotland and Northern England and cloudy. Temperatures widely above average again. Not quite yesterday's high of 21 though. Winds light for most, but fresher in the far south and northwest. Largely fine for the evening. Low cloud extending across eastern regions of the coasts of England overnight, while lingering over southeast Scotland. Elsewhere, clear skies, a bit of mist, a bit of fog.
All Clear Travel Insurance proudly sponsors Sky News Weather.
Washington still to come. Let's discuss the situation regarding the rising cost of gas prices, both internationally and around the world, as a result of the situation in the Middle East. We'll do so with our economics and data editor, Ed Conway.
When you don't have time for dirt, reach for with a new pad of dirt lifting fibers. It cuts through grease and grime to effortlessly clean your floor in seconds and keep it